everybody. I hope you've had an awesome week. Today we're going to be talking about types of sentences. Specifically, we're going to be discussing 3 types of sentences, which are simple, compound, and complex. There is a 4th type of sentence, which is compound complex, but we're not going to talk about that one yet. Let's start with simple sentences. These are also called independent clauses because they are complete. They have a subject, they have a verb, they have a complete idea. Like I said before, simple sentences contain a subject and a predicate and a complete thought. Only one, okay? Only one subject, one predicate, one complete thought. For example, the boys went to the park and we like pizza. So in the first example, the boys is the subject, that's who we're talking about, and went to the park is the predicate. It's a complete thought because we know exactly what the boys are doing, where they're going. In the next example, we like pizza. We is the subject, like pizza is the predicate. It is also a complete thought. So these two are examples of simple sentences. Compound sentences are the second type that we're going to be discussing today. Compound sentences contain 2 or more independent clauses. So that's basically if you take 2 simple sentences and you put them together and you join them using a coordinating conjunction. For example, the boys went to the park, but they did not go to the zoo. The word but is a coordinating conjunction that is joining the boys went to the park, which is an independent clause, and they did not go to the zoo, also an independent clause. So that's why I told you before with the simple sentence that it was only one subject, predicate, and complete idea. Here we have 2 or more being joined together by a coordinating conjunction. The next example we have, we like pizza and we like spaghetti. We like pizza is an independent clause. The word and is a coordinating conjunction. And we like spaghetti is another independent clause. If I eliminated this conjunction and I wrote these 2 clauses as independent sentences, they would work. They would make sense. They're not dependent of each other. Here are the coordinating conjunctions for us to review. These are the only 7 coordinating conjunctions in the English language which you can use to join together 2 independent clauses to make a compound sentence. They make up the word fanboys. Fanboys. So the coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Here are the meanings of each of these conjunctions. For example, the word and means in addition to. This column over here contains examples. So for example, I have to find a new job for I am unemployed. Here we have the conjunction, the coordinating conjunction for, which is joining together the independent clause, I have to find a new job, with the independent clause, I am unemployed. Together, joined by this conjunction, they make a compound sentence. Let's look at one of the other ones. He says nice words, yet you don't trust him. Here we have the independent clause, he says nice words, which could work by itself as a sentence. Then we have the coordinating conjunction yet, and then we have another independent clause that says you don't trust him. This would also work by itself. Putting them together and joining them by a coordinating conjunction, it is now a compound sentence. The third type of sentence is the complex sentence. This one contains an independent clause like the ones we've talked about before and a dependent clause. Dependent clauses begin with a subordinating conjunction, which is different to the coordinating conjunctions that we just looked at. Subordinating conjunctions are different. What's key here is to remember that complex sentences have an independent clause, which could work by itself, but they're joined with a dependent clause, which would not be able to work by itself because it's incomplete. It's not going to be a complete sentence. For example, because the boys went to the park, they did not go to the zoo. Here, the underlined clause is dependent because if I said, because the boys went to the park, that would be an incomplete thought. However, the following clause, which says they did not go to the zoo, is an independent clause because it could work by itself. I am joining them together by putting the subordinating conjunction because at the beginning of the dependent clause. You can also have the subordinating conjunction between the two clauses. So for example, it could say, the boys did not go to the zoo because they went to the park. Here are 50 of the most common subordinating conjunctions. With the coordinating conjunctions, there were only 7 in the English language, but with subordinating conjunctions, there are much more. I am only giving you the most common 50, which you can use to complete the practice exercises. Let's practice. Can you identify the following sentences as simple, compound, or complex? Here we have 5 sentences. The first one says, Marcos plays Animal Crossing in the morning. How many independent clauses do you see there? Do you see any conjunctions at all? The answer is that this sentence does not have any conjunctions and it only has one independent clause. Therefore, this is a simple sentence. The next sentence says, when he came home, his mother hugged him. Here we see that there's a comma. That's the first key, the first hint that two clauses are being joined together. One of them is when he came home. Reading it like that, you would be able to tell that it does not make sense by itself. The next clause says, his mother hugged him. This clause could work by itself and therefore is an independent clause. So if we have a dependent clause plus an independent clause, this would be a complex sentence, which is being joined together by the subordinating conjunction when. For the next example, it says, I studied for the test, so I got a good grade. I studied for the test could work by itself and is therefore an independent clause. I got a good grade could also work as an independent clause. So here we have two independent clauses being joined together by the coordinating conjunction so. Therefore, this sentence is compound. The next one says, the rabbit ate all the carrots. This one does not have any conjunctions, and it expresses only one independent clause. Therefore, this one is a simple sentence. And finally, her parents arrived after she left. Here, we have her parents arrived, and then we have after she left. So we have an independent clause with a dependent clause being joined together by the subordinating conjunction after. If you can't remember what the conjunctions are, just look back to the references where I indicated some of the examples of subordinating conjunction. You can see I marked the yellow ones, which are the simple sentences. The blue ones are complex, and then this green one is compound. Now it's your turn. I'm going to give you 10 practice exercises for you to try to identify a simple, compound, or complex. Here are the 10 sentences that you are going to be working with. In that space next to each of the sentences, what you should write are the words simple, compound, complex, depending on which one it is. Make sure you send me a picture on Remind with your answers and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, that's it for today. Bye, everybody.